Hi. It's been a while. So, the last couple weeks have just been a lot. It's not the beginning of what's happening. I think it's funny because nowadays, if somebody says, if somebody wants to talk about what's happening, we all know what that means. But if by some reason you don't know what's happening, I encourage you to go do some research on the social injustices in today's society and then come back and watch the video. But it's definitely, we're seeing more of what's happening come into the spotlight. I'm sure there's a word for that, but I can't think of it right now. And because of that, a lot of emotions have arose on all of our minds and sides and things. And, you know, the people that I would talk to that I necessarily wouldn't talk about personal beliefs with, these things weren't getting acknowledged. And I was like, I was going crazy. So because of that, I chose to reach out to a lot of my friends, a lot of my family, that maybe they weren't saying much on their social medias or whatever about what's happening. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why there were people not saying anything. I did not get it. And so in particular, there's one friend that I have that I reached out to her and I was like, you know, I value our friendship, but I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand why being quiet is even an option. And you know, she's not in the Black community. She said she's white, and she explained to me that she just doesn't know what to say. She doesn't want to offend. She doesn't want to say the wrong thing. She knows how she feels, but her voice as a white woman, she feels, well, I think she said that she feels like she doesn't have a voice as a white woman. And I was like, we all have a voice. We all have a voice. And like, the way that I like to think about it is that the people that I'm talking to right now, all of you guys, people on my social media, on Instagram or Facebook, they're different from everybody else. Nobody has the same exact friends and followers that I do. So you can reach a different audience and you can start those conversations yourself. And I just think that's really cool. I think that's one of the best parts of social media. So anyways, I had these conversations with all of my friends and family, well, the ones that I value, the relationships that I valued, because I just did not understand. And after having that conversation with my friend, I was able to begin to try to empathize with that idea that I just don't know what to say and I don't want to offend, and there's so much going on right now, and like, how do I say what I want to say? And in the end, at this point in time, which has been a couple of weeks after everything, well, after George Floyd's murder, those that I've talked to have all shown their solidarity in some way, shape, or form. And that, I think, is the goal, to show solidarity. And I think that support in the movement, there are different flavors for it, right? Some people protest, some people don't feel safe protesting. Some people sign petitions, some people donate time or money. Some people post on social media, you know, if they have a huge platform, or if they don't have any platform at all. Some people sit down and have conversations with their friends and family that know that they maybe have different views of what's happening right now. And they have those hard conversations, hard, uncomfortable conversations, because they're important to have right now. So I think there are just different flavors of support in what's happening right now. And so I no longer judge people that choose to not say anything necessarily on social media as hardly. I am all about having friends that have different opinions of mine, different views of mine. I think it's healthy. I think it's cool that we grew up differently and we have different things that we believe in. I think that's amazing. However, basic human rights is not one that I'm going to negotiate with you, with anybody. Basic human rights, that's a non-negotiable for me. And I've lost friendships and I've unfollowed people, and I'm sure people have unfollowed me because of what's happening. And that's okay with me. Basic human rights are basic human rights. And if you disagree with that, I don't know. I feel really strongly about this because I don't know. It's just, there's a lot that I don't understand about people that aren't supporting this movement. And I have taken it upon myself to try to learn and not even understand, but hear those points or those opinions and whatever. However, I just like come on, like things like some people don't believe that. I had a friend once upon a time, I don't think this is the case anymore, but this friend didn't believe racism existed. Having to explain what systemic racism was. Implicit bias is a thing. There's a test that you can take to show your findings of implicit bias, which I thought was kind of interesting. I took the test. I will put the link below if you guys are interested in taking that test. It just takes you through a couple of different questions and a couple of different just things where you have to answer these questions super quickly, and at the end it tells you, it kind of just tells you like if you favor European Americans, whites, over African American blacks, or vice versa. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'll put the link below if you guys are interested in taking that test. It's just a cool test to take just to kind of put yourself in check. I don't know. This is one of those things where it's a non-negotiable for me. You yourself watching this video may not agree with everything that I'm saying, and that's okay. I think that it's healthy for all of us to maybe have an opinion, but want to learn the other side's opinion too. I don't know, because as I'm saying that, I'm also saying that it's non-negotiable for me to talk about. But what I'm saying is that the non-negotiable is like, if you don't believe in basic human rights, I'm not having a conversation with you. If you are wanting to be an ally and you're wanting to support the movement and all of those things, then that's somebody I can have a conversation with. But somebody that's flat out like, I don't think so, then same here. I don't think so. So I went to a protest here in Seattle last Saturday, and the protest it was supposed to be a peaceful protest, but it turned violent. And I'm gonna show you guys a couple clips from that. On the way to Westlake Center. That's where they're having the peaceful protest today. How are you feeling? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I know everyone's feeling it too. It's looking like there's cops that already have it closed off. And just something that I tell everybody that asks me questions about what's going on here in Seattle is, you know, I encourage everyone to go to a protest themselves, because we see all these things online and we see all these reports and all of these things, and you're seeing this not firsthand, right? And I think these kinds of things are super important to see firsthand if you want to base an opinion off of. You know, if you haven't been to a protest, I don't know. I'm not saying you shouldn't be speaking on protests, but you should at least go to one to try to better understand what is happening. Why is everyone so angry? Why are these peaceful protests turning into violence? Violent protests. Yeah, so I encourage everyone to just actually do your own research, go to your own protests, support this movement in whatever way possible that you feel comfortable doing, and then form your opinion. I think that's the best way to go forward. You know, to base your opinion on things that you're only seeing online is just not smart. But anyways, I went to a protest here in Seattle last Saturday, and it was supposed to be a peaceful protest. It was supposed to be a march from point A to point B, and I got there. It was supposed to start at around 3 o'clock, and I got there at around 2:30, and there were police, men and women, barricading the route that I thought it was that we were supposed to take. And they were barricading the avenue with their bikes. And I'll show the video here. And I was like, okay, maybe at like 3 when the march was supposed to start, maybe they'll move. So 3 o'clock comes around, nothing. 3:05 comes around, nothing. 3:10, nothing. And I asked one of the cops, I'm trying to like get the cop's attention, he's ignoring me. He sees me, he's ignoring me, which is fine. I understand. Like stress, you don't know who I am, if I'm there peacefully or whatever. But then I see the cops starting to shift in and out from where they're barricading to behind them. They're kind of like in a circle. And so the cops that are inside the circle are starting to put gas masks on. And they're switching out with the cops that are on barricade duty or whatever. And I see that and I'm like, okay, they're putting gas masks on. Everyone at this point is peaceful, right? I don't see any violence happening around us at all. Angry people, of course, angry protesters, but no violence. So I'm like, why are they putting gas masks on? And for me, that means that there's gonna be gas thrown or whatever soon. So there was, and that's when I started seeing the violence happening. So, you know, I saw cop cars go on fire. I think I saw like 5 of them on fire. The people running in, or, you know, breaking down the windows and stealing clothes, and it was raining in Seattle, shocker. And, you know, the Old Navy downtown was broken into, and all of the clothes you saw all over the ground in the rain. And, you know, and I will note that and this is what I saw, I'm not saying this is everything, but from what I saw, I personally didn't see anybody in the Black community looting. My God, it was just a lot. It was a lot. And the air was like foggy because of all the gas. And that's why I encourage people to just go to a protest yourself, because, you know, that I don't even know if it's tear gas, but whatever gas it is, that gas that they use, it hits different when you're there. It's completely different when you see the cop. I don't know. I don't believe all cops are bad. I do believe that we have to hold each other accountable on all sides. We have to hold each other accountable, and we have to learn to have empathy. So yeah, so I'll show you guys clips from the protest turned riot that I attended. And I just encourage you guys to go to one yourself. It really makes a difference. It changed my opinion on a couple of things. I encourage everyone to have these conversations. I know these conversations are hard to have right now, but they're important to have right now. Even gonna open myself up. It's not my responsibility necessary to educate anybody, but I am 100% open for conversation, good conversation, where all parties can learn something. I'm a strong believer that if it weren't for these protests, for like Breonna Taylor, the no-knock warrant has been banned because of these protests and these riots, you know, and the fact that we're angry. Like, she was murdered months ago, 3 months ago, and it's only this week that ban was passed. This week. So, I don't know. You can argue with me if you'd like. Martin Luther King said that riots are the language of the unheard. And right now what we need is change. We need that change. We all deserve basic human rights. I encourage you to just find what flavor of support fits you best and to move forward with that. I encourage everyone to have these conversations. I encourage you to hold everyone accountable for what's happening right now. And I encourage you to learn empathy. Accountability and empathy. These two things we need to have. Okay, I think I've talked for enough time. So I will see you guys soon, sooner rather than later this time. And thank you guys so much for watching.